Welcome. Today I share how I make this card with flower pots that spell the word love. Before I start drawing, I like to plan out how I'm going to make my card, and you can see this example of a few notes that I took for making this card. When I'm ready to begin drawing the card, I like to think about the spacing. I'm going to be making boxy, squarish letters that are pretty big, and you can see me using those straight lines to draw that L. And I'm going to be thinking about that proportion as I continue to draw the rest of my letters. I made sure to leave a little extra space because around each letter that I draw, I am going to be drawing a planter for the letter to be decorating. And on my E, I made it extra tall because I thought that it would be fun to have a tall planter on each side and two short planters in the middle. And you can see that I continued with those boxy shapes and the same proportion throughout the word. The next thing that I do is to draw the planters around the letters. For the letter L, I use sweeping lines that dent a little bit to the inside, and there's curves at the top and bottom to give a little bit more depth. For the letter O, I make a ledge at the top of a planter with some bulbous sides so they are rounded, and down at the bottom I have the planters sitting on a little plate. And once again, I use a little bit of a curved line to show that depth and the ledge at the bottom. Next, around my letter V, I decided to use a rounded pot like the one next to it, but just like in my windowsill, I wanted to have this pot on little feet. So I put little feet at the bottom, and I remembered to make that little curve go in to show where the plant comes out of. For the letter E, it's just a tall, straight planter, straight lines on the sides, and curve at the bottom and top. The next thing I did was draw the flowers. Starting above the L, I drew a picture of a tulip with a curved side for a side view of a main petal, and then another side view of a side petal that's also curved, and they're a little pointed. For the petals that show in the middle, I use a curved line to show that it's looking directly at the petal. And then I make a stem that's a little bit thick to hold some color, curved at the top as it comes up to the bottom of the blossom, and then ending those lines right at the top of the planter. For the letter O, I decided to make a flower that's like a daisy, and sometimes I find it tricky to get the petals about the same length. They don't have to be perfect, but it helps me to make some guiding petals around different sides of the circle in the middle so that my petals turn out to be about the same size. And you can see that I started that way. They're not exactly the same, and neither are flowers in the wild, but I draw in the petals, filling in that space all the while. So I'm keeping my petals about the same length. And you can see here, once I have established the general size of the petals, I can just fill in the rest. And it's just a matter of filling in more and more little spaces until it's all rounded out. Then it's time for a stem, going from where the middle of the flower would be and stopping at the top of the pot. Because I am using this card for a Valentine, I decided to make one of the flowers using little hearts, so it looks a little bit like the daisy next door with these petals going all around, but each petal is a heart and they just come together in the middle. So it's fun and it shows that little love theme. And here's a stem going down, again leaving enough space for coloring. And the final one, I used a dahlia, my dad's favorite flower and favorite color of dahlia, since I'll be planning to share this card with my parents. And like I said, my dad loves the dahlias, So the way you make a dahlia is just by making lots and lots of little petals going all the way around. And I just keep going around and around until I get to the outside, making the petals a little bit bigger as I go. When it feels nice and full, I stop and I'm ready to add the stem. And there it is. My flowers are complete. In fact, that's all the drawing I need to do for this card. Now it's time for me to sign the card and pick out some colors and choose how I'm going to coordinate them. And here it is, completed with those colors I picked out for the pots, and then I switched the colors around for the flowers a little to give it a little bit of variation. You can show someone that you love them by sending this greeting card, which is perfect for Valentine's Day or for any time you want to share your love with friends, family, or that special someone. You can create infinite variations of this card simply by changing the flowers and the shapes of the planters and the colors that you use. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to help this channel share more tutorials with more people. Thank you and happy drawing!